October 16th, 1773. Paris. The Conciergerie is less a prison and more a waiting room for the dead. The air inside the cell is thick, reeking of damp straw, stale tobacco smoke, and the sweat of men who know they are watching a ghost. A heavy iron bolt slides home, sealing the oak door with a sound like a hammer striking bone. In the flickering light of a single tallow candle, a woman sits on a broken rush chair. She is no longer Her Majesty. She is prisoner 280. Marie Antoinette looks down at her shoes, black silk, once elegant, now stained with dungeon mud and tearing at the seams. This tearing fabric is the only clock she has left. Most believe the terror lay in the guillotine's blade. They are wrong. What they did to Marie Antoinette before the guillotine was a calculated psychological flaying, far more horrifying than death. The tribunal seeks more than execution. They require the absolute erasure of her identity. Why was it necessary to destroy the woman to kill the queen? And what irreversible cost is extracted when a system decides that memory is more dangerous than treason? The sharpest blade is the one you never see coming. If you enjoy these dark histories, leave a like and subscribe and comment below where you're listening from. And now, back to the story. The descent is literal. On August 2nd, 1793, at 1 in the morning, she is moved from the temple tower to the conciergerie's damp ground floor. This is the antechamber of the guillotine. Here, the walls sweat moisture that turns bread to mold within hours. The stone floor is so cold, it seeps through the soles of her shoes, chilling the marrow. Institutional control shifts from simple imprisonment to aggressive surveillance. She is no longer a person. She is an asset to be liquidated. 2 gendarmes are stationed inside her cell, 24 hours a day. They smoke pipes, play cards, and drink cheap wine. A flimsy screen, barely 4 feet high, is the only barrier between the former Queen of France and 2 men who watch her sleep, dress, and relieve herself. Privacy is the first luxury to be stripped away. Dignity is the second. Then comes the false dawn. In September, the Chevalier de Rougeville manages to enter the cell. He drops a single carnation at her feet. Inside the petals, a tiny scrap of paper is hidden, pricked with pinholes to form a message. I am ready. It is an offer of mercy, a chance to slip through the iron net. She reads it, her heart hammering against her ribs, and for a moment, the damp walls seem to recede. Hope is the most dangerous weapon they give you, but the plot collapses. The note is intercepted. The mercy was a trap, or perhaps just bad luck. But the price is immediate and severe. The window looking onto the Cour des Femmes is bricked up, leaving only a small grate at the top. The light turns gray and thin. The screen is removed. The gendarmes are ordered never to take their eyes off her. She does not weep. Instead, she sits on the rush chair and mends her black dress, the only one she has, with a bone needle. Her hand stops mid-stitch. She holds her breath, eyes lowered to the tearing silk, sensing the gendarme's gaze on her neck. She does not look up. She pushes the needle through. Silence is the only territory you can still defend. October 14th, 1793. The Grand Chamber of the Palace of Justice. The air is stifling, thick with the heat of 1,000 bodies and the sharp, acidic tang of vinegar used to ward off jail fever. Marie Antoinette is brought in. She is pale, her eyesight failing from the dungeon's gloom, but she walks to the armchair allocated for the accused without assistance. The prosecution, led by the public accusers Fouquier-Tinville, lays out the condition openly. It is not enough to find her guilty of treason or depleting the treasury. Those are political crimes, debatable and dry. To justify the terror, the tribunal must transform the queen into a moral aberration. They need a monster to validate their righteousness. The unstated choice is brutal: break down and validate their narrative of depravity, or maintain silence and be destroyed as a stubborn enemy of the people. The interrogation grinds on for 15 hours. They strip away her title, referring to her only as the Widow Capet. They read lists of expenses, dresses, jewels, an accounting of a life that no longer exists. They press her on secret correspondence, on the diamond necklace affair, on betrayal. She answers briefly, her voice flat. She refuses to engage in the theater they have constructed. Then, Jacques Hébert plays the final card. He accuses her of incest with her 8-year-old son, Louis Charles. The courtroom falls silent. The accusation is designed to shatter her composure, to make her weep or scream, to reduce her to a trembling animal. It is the ultimate test of faith, not in God, but in the enduring truth of her own identity against a state that controls reality. A child's voice can be twisted until it sounds like a knife. She does not scream. Her hand, resting on the wooden rail of the dock, tightens. The knuckles turn white. She stops breathing for a single heartbeat, her eyes fixed on the grain of the wood. It is a hesitation that spans an eternity, the only crack in her armor. It seals. She raises her head. "I appeal to all mothers here," she says. It is not a plea for mercy. It is a cold refusal to validate their filth. It is a mirror held up to the tribunal. The women in the gallery, the market women who hated her, suddenly shift. The cruelty has gone too far. The attempt to break her has inverted. Her discipline becomes a shield. What was meant to destroy her reputation sanctifies it. Here, the why and the price are resolved. The institution needed to destroy the concept of monarchy by making the queen subhuman. If she is a monster, the revolution is the savior of innocence. The price paid for this narrative was the soul of her son, who was intoxicated with alcohol and fear, forced to sign a deposition he could not understand. The irreversible cost is the corruption of the child to kill the mother. The trial ends at 4 a.m. The jury deliberates, maintaining the charade of justice. But the verdict was decided before the candles were lit. She is condemned. As she leaves the hall, she does not look back at her accusers. She steps into the darkness of the stairwell, possessing nothing but the truth they could not force her to surrender. The verdict is written in ink, but signed in blood. October 16th, morning. The trial is over. The verdict is death. She returns to the cell, shivering not from fear, but from the bone-deep cold of exhaustion. She has been awake for 48 hours. She asks the gendarme for a pen and paper. She sits at the small wooden table. The ink is poor, the paper is coarse. She begins to write. This is the testament of Marie Antoinette. In Act 1, we assumed the system had successfully stripped her of agency, reducing her to a trembling victim. But the handwriting here is steady, the lines straight. She writes not with the hysteria of the condemned, but with the clarity of a woman who has already left the world. I pardon my enemies, she writes. I bid farewell to my aunts and to all my brothers and sisters. The dead speak loudest when they whisper. She finishes the letter, kisses it, and folds it. Then the final rite begins. She must prepare her body for the spectacle. She cannot go to her death in the stained, mended black dress of the widow Capet. She opens a small bundle she has guarded jealously. Inside is a dress of white pique. White is the color of the lilies of France. It is the color of royal mourning. With the gendarmes watching, refusing to leave even now, she maneuvers behind the small bed to change her linen. It is a wordless, awkward struggle to maintain modesty in a cage designed to destroy it. She rolls up the black dress. She smooths the white fabric. She puts on a simple linen cap. Historical records from the Courtois Commission, found years later among Robespierre's private papers, reveal the hidden truth. Robespierre confiscated the letter. He hid it, believing he was burying her last words. He was wrong. By hiding it, he preserved it. The letter proves that the moral monster the tribunal created in Act 4 never existed. The woman who sat in that cell was not the debauched traitor they sold to the mob. She was a mother worrying about her children, a Catholic worrying about her soul, and a queen determining the color of her own shroud. They wanted a beast. She gave them a martyr in white. They bury the truth, but they forget that seeds grow in the dark. 12:15 p.m. The blade falls. The roar of the crowd on the Place de la Révolution is a physical weight, a wall of sound that crashes against the buildings. But the story does not end with blood. It ends with lime. The body is not taken to Saint-Denis to rest with kings. It is thrown into a handcart, head placed between the legs, and wheeled to the graveyard of the Madeleine. There is no service. The instructions are explicit. Erasure. The grave diggers dump the remains into a deep common pit. They shovel layers of quicklime over the white dress. The chemical burns are intended to consume flesh and bone rapidly, to prevent the soil from yielding any relics in the future. They want the earth to be flat and silent. The administrative machinery completes the erasure. In the parish register, a clerk dips his pen and makes a frantic scrawled entry. For the bier of the widow Capet, 6 livres. 6 livres, the price of a cheap wooden box. Her name is struck from the rolls of the living, her title struck from history, her children renamed or locked away in the dark. Back at the Conciergerie, the cell is already being swept. The damp straw is kicked into a pile and burned. The black silk dress, the one she mended with such care, is catalogued and taken away. The candle she wrote by is snuffed out. The room is prepared for the next number, the next body, the next ghost. Yet, the silence in the cell is heavy. The bricked-up window still blocks the light. The iron bolt still slides with the sound of a hammer. The irreversible cost from Act 1 has been paid. 1,000 years of monarchy ended not by a decree, but by a 6-livre box and a pit of lime. They dissolved the body to kill the memory, but the emptiness she left behind became a shape that no amount of quicklime could fill. The silence of the mother became the haunting of the nation. Subscribe, hit the bell, and like. The only thing that lasts forever is what you try to delete.